Admiral Kethtar's mandibles clicked in amusement as he surveyed the pitiful human fleet through the crystalline viewport of his flagship, the Eternal Dominion. 12 ships. That was all the upstart species had managed to muster against the full might of the Zephyrian Empire's Third Armada. Pathetic, he chittered to his second-in-command, Admiral Vexhai. 374 ships of the line, and they send 12 rust buckets to challenge us. The human vessels hung in space like abandoned derelicts compared to the gleaming bioships of the Zephyrian fleet. Where the Empire's vessels curved and flowed with organic grace, their living hulls pulsing with bioluminescent patterns, the human ships were angular, crude, metal boxes welded together by a species that had barely crawled from its home system 50 cycles ago. Admiral, the communications officer's antennae twitched nervously. The humans are hailing us. Put them through. I wish to hear their surrender. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing a scarred human female in a simple blue uniform. Her species' pale features showed no fear, only a cold determination that briefly gave Kethtar pause. I am Captain Sarah Chen of the Terran, Defense Force Vessel Yamato, she said, her translator rendering her words in perfect Zephyrian. You have entered human space without authorization and ignored 3 separate warnings to withdraw. This is your final opportunity to turn back. Kethtar's laughter echoed through the bridge, joined by the amused chirping of his crew. Final opportunity? Little human, your entire fleet could not scratch the paint on my weakest escort. I offer you the chance to surrender now, and your deaths will be quick. The human's expression didn't change. Then you've made your choice. The transmission ended. Begin the advance, Kethtar commanded. Destroy 11 of their ships. Leave 1 alive to carry word of our power back to their breeding grounds. The Zephyrian fleet surged forward, their bioships' neural networks singing in harmonious coordination. This would be a massacre, a demonstration that would echo across the galaxy. Other species would learn what happened when they defied the Empire. The human fleet began moving as well, but not in retreat as Kethtar expected. Instead, 11 ships formed a defensive sphere around the 12th, the one the female had called Yamato. It was larger than the others, though still dwarfed by even Kethtar's smallest cruiser. Plasma cannons charging, reported the weapons officer. Ready to fire on your command, Admiral. Wait, Kethtar clicked thoughtfully. I want to see what desperate strategy they attempt first. The entertainment value alone. His words were cut off as space itself seemed to scream. The Yamato had fired something, not plasma, not particle beams, not any energy weapon the Zephyrians recognized. A streak of pure kinetic force tore through, the void at a significant fraction of light speed striking the heavy cruiser flesh render amidships. The bioship simply ceased to exist. One moment it was there, its living hull gleaming with bioluminescent warnings. The next, there was only an expanding cloud of superheated gas and organic matter. What? Kethtar's voice died in his throat. Impossible, Vexhai whispered. Our scanners detected no energy buildup. No. The Yamato fired again. This time the projectile, if it could even be called that, struck the battlecruiser bone. Crusher. The massive ship folded in on itself like paper, its kilometer-long hull crumpling before it exploded in a brief, brilliant star. Evasive maneuvers, Kethtar shrieked. All ships, emergency scatter pattern. But the Zephyrian fleet built for coordinated assault wasn't designed for panic. Ships collided as they tried to break formation. The Yamato continued firing, each shot erasing another vessel from existence with surgical precision. How? Vexhai demanded of the science officer. What are they firing? The science officer's 4 eyes were wide with terror as he studied his instruments. Admiral, they're not firing energy weapons at all. They're firing matter. Solid projectiles accelerated to near relativistic speeds using some form of magnetic field manipulation we've never seen before. Kinetic weapons? Kethtar couldn't believe it. Primitive ballistics? Not primitive, the science officer corrected, his voice shaking. At those velocities, even a grain of sand would hit with the force of a nuclear warhead. They're firing what appears to be meter-long tungsten rods at 0.97 light speed. The tactical display showed the devastating results. In less than 3 minutes, the Yamato had destroyed 37 Zephyrian vessels. The rest of the human fleet hadn't fired a single shot. They were merely protecting their champion. Return. Fire, Kethtar commanded. All ships concentrate on that vessel. 1,000 plasma beams lanced out toward the Yamato, enough firepower to slag a small moon. But the human ship moved with impossible grace, its angular hull dancing between the energy blasts. Where plasma did strike, it simply absorbed the impact, its dark armor glowing cherry red before cooling back to black. Another tungsten rod screamed, through space vaporizing the dreadnought Soul Eater. Their armor, the science officer reported, his voice filled with growing dread. It's not metal as we understand it. It's some kind of carbon lattice and impossibly dense. Our plasma isn't penetrating, it's being distributed across the entire hull. Captain Chen's voice crackled over the communications array, transmitted on all frequencies. This is your second warning, Admiral. Withdraw now, or we will demonstrate why humanity earned its place in this galaxy the hard way. Kethtar stared at the tactical display. Half his fleet was gone. The greatest armada the Empire had ever assembled was being systematically dismantled by a single human vessel, using weapons that shouldn't work, built from materials that shouldn't exist, operated by beings who refused to acknowledge their own extinction. How? He whispered. As if hearing his question across the void, Captain Chen's image appeared again on the display. This time she was smiling, a cold, predatory expression that sent ice through Kethtar's chitinous body. You want to know our secret, Admiral? It's simple. While your empire spent 1,000 years perfecting biology, humanity spent 1,000 years perfecting the art of killing things. We turned physics into a weapon, we made mathematics into murder, and we never ever stopped improving. The Yamato fired again. The flagship of the Zephyrian Second Fleet became a memory. Every human ship carries weapons that would make your ancestors weep, Chen continued conversationally as the slaughter continued. But we also carry something else, the knowledge that in this universe, there's always someone bigger and stronger. So we learned to be smarter. We learned to be meaner. We learned to take whatever physics gave us and turn it into something that would make gods pause. The last of Kethtar's escorts vanished in a flash of vaporized metal and boiling atmosphere. Retreat, he screamed. Full retreat. All remaining ships jump to hyperspace immediately. As the battered remnants of the Third Armada fled into the darkness between stars, Captain Chen's final words followed them. Tell your empire what you learned here today. Humanity doesn't need a big fleet. We just need to be human. In the aftermath, floating alone in the debris field of what had been the Empire's proudest armada, Admiral Kethtar finally understood the truth that would reshape the galaxy. Size didn't matter when you were facing a species that had weaponized ingenuity itself. The Zephyrian Empire had mocked humanity's small fleet. They would never make that mistake again.